to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello everyone and welcome to RaceSpot TV Friday Primetime once again. I'm Connery Maddock. I'm joined by Ryan Walker for the fourth week of racing action here in the Skip Barber Racing Series. We head to Tsukuba Circuit to be trying to fight things out here early on in the season, and oh my word, this field is absolutely ridiculous. It's over 5,000 in terms of the strength of the field. So a lot of the best Skippy drivers turning out here on this Friday evening to do a battle. There's the schedule up on screen for you now. We had an absolutely fantastic race at Brands Hatch last week where race win was decided on the final lap through the final corner for all intents and purposes. Let's hope we get to see something like that here today. Tsukuba this week. Of course, next week we'll be heading on to Road Atlanta as well. But Paul, this field is going to be very, very exciting.
I think you mean Ryan, but yeah.
I do.
But yeah, Tsukuba, fantastic track in iRacing, and yeah, it's always been a great track for these Skip Barber cars, and I think tonight, this evening, is going to be no exception.
I must still be in last season's mode, but yes, of course. Right now, we do have the sort of very tail end of qualifying going on. A lot of drivers on their second lap of 2 flying laps that they're able to do. Of course, with the new time model on these Skippies, it's always going to be that second lap. That's just going to be that little bit faster. But Ryan, it is a very, very short lap here.
Absolutely. In these Skip Barber cars, it's always been, it's incredibly a short lap, and there's plenty of different technical sections of the track. There's slow speed corners, high speed corners, there's hairpins. So this track, it makes it a bit of a challenge for these cars, and also on iRacing in general. And I think there's some places in the track that you can maybe try and send it or make a move.
Yeah, but a lot of hairpins around here, so lots of inviting entries, so drivers can sling a couple of moves down the inside perhaps when it comes to the racing action. At least provisionally here in qualifying, Jose Soraira is currently provisionally pole position, but the thing is everyone is still very, very close together here for the lap times coming towards the very, very start of the race. We've still got maximum 2 minutes to run here, so still a decent amount of time for the rest of those drivers that have yet to set a lap to be able to get those laps in. But this is potentially going to be an absolutely fantastic race, because this track really, really does play host to, or rather is very friendly to a lot of side-by-side racing.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be especially with such a high strength of field as well, with 5,000, I believe you said, Connery, and with some of the best drivers in the Skip Barber racing this evening. I think it's going to be a very close race, and there could be some mayhem, especially in the middle section of this track.
It could well be. Of course, we're on the iRacing Esports Network here. We're streaming both on YouTube and, of course, on Twitch as well for this Friday primetime segment. So I feel like a YouTuber or Twitch streamer just saying to hit that follow button, but please do. It would be absolutely great. But coming towards the end of qualifying now, we remember back to last race where things really came down to the wire, and we did have a race winner that was perhaps completely unexpected until the final lap. So this race has a lot to live up to when you consider the absolutely bombastic finale we had to the previous one.
Yeah, that last lap at Brands Hatch last week was just absolutely fantastic to watch. Yeah, I think there was 3 cars in with a chance of winning the race, and I think it was, yeah, one car unfortunately made contact with another car in the last lap, but it was still exciting nevertheless as we get ready to shortly head over to the grid.
Well, there we go. Qualifying is over and done with. Here is your starting grid here for week 4 of the Skip Barber Racing Series. We've got Jose Soraya in pole position with Borja Zazo on that front row as well. Fleur Hughes will start in P3 with Will Fisher in P4. Edwin Valerino starts inside the top 5 with Tim Hendrickson P6. Gerardo Ramos in P7 with Gonzalo Calvo starting P8 here today. Tim Graukruger in P9 with Sasha Gole starting in P10, and Simon Edwards, top iRacing in the field. He has to work his way forwards from 11th place on the grid here today. Cristobal Otero starts in P12. Luke Whitten P13 for him. Lee Anderson starts 14th. Gustavo Conde in P15 here to start. We've got Anthony Catt as well, another big player that could really make an impact. He has to do things from P16 though. Same with Anthony PM Jones. He starts 17th place. Gonza Garcia in P18, Sergey Harras in P19, and then Christian Cabanca rounds out your 20 car field here today. And, well, a lot of names up and down the grid that can make a huge impact, but we're about to go green flag racing here for race number 4 at Tsukuba. It was a long haul, but finally we get those green lights showing. Instantly defensive from your pole position sitter, though, Aswira. He has to take the outside line coming in towards turn 1. Borja Zazo brings it side by side with the race leader. You got battling further back for P3 as well, but Zazo's made the impact early on, and he gets himself to the pointy end of the field. Fleur Hughes trying to fight off Will Fisher down in towards the left-hander. Fisher on the inside and tries to get the run off the corner, but that one will go to Fleur Hughes as they head their way under the little Dunlop bridge there, as these guys are still trying to duel it out for P number 3 coming up through the middle sector. Now Fisher's on the outside, has to go the long way around here. Both cars drifting on the entry to the corner, but this battle still isn't done here, Ryan, as they head their way up towards the final couple of corners.
Just looking throughout the field, and it looks like everyone's managed to make it so far anyway around here on lap 1, as Hughes is making a move up the inside into the final corner. Can he get it done? Always run right a little bit and manages to pull the move off and up into P3, but yeah, Fisher's not giving up that easy as they head down into turn 1.
Yeah, forced Hughes to go very, very defensive down into there, but finally the battle is now single file. We also saw Zazo and Soira as well right at the front of the field, still stuck together like two very, very bright green cars for the both of them. And we're riding on the back of your race leader of Zazo. He really took the advantage there in terms of starting on that inside line. It's, the odd numbered positions on the grid actually had the outside line coming in towards turn number 1. And of course, there are a few tracks that do that, but Tsukuba with that short run towards turn 1, it really does give P2, P4, P6 an advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, if someone's in front of you, maybe say 4 or 5 tenths in front of you, you can reel them back in because of the draft effect around this track, especially on the back straight. Is right on board with Soria into turn 1, and still right behind the leader, but not far behind them is Lear Hughes, Fabio Ramos, Will Fisher, and Tim Graukruger.
Yeah, still all stacked up here for those front couple of positions. Fisher, having a look at him right now, he's currently dealing with a little bit of pressure from behind because Graukruger starting to lock onto the back of him. He's up a couple of positions in this race already, 3 to be exact. Start P9 up into P number 6 for the driver of the number 6 car, as in towards right-hander they go. You can just see there's a little bit of lockups from the cars in front there. They're really trying to get these Skip Barber cars slowed down, because a lot of those hairpins, they are first gear corners, and there's not many corners in all of motorsports that you have to take a Skippy first gear in.
Absolutely. As just looking throughout the field as well, Anthony Cat is under attack from trying to see who that is. I think that's Cristobal Otero. So yeah, there's Jensen, sorry.
Oh, someone's had a bit of a moment down the pit straight, and that's Sergio Harras there, right towards the end, back of the field. Gustavo Conde also involved in that one. In fact, we'll get another look at it coming through the final corner, and that was just Sergio Harras breaking loose on the exit. Avoiding action had to be taken by Conde. He has a heavy impact with the barrier, but Sasha Golev, though, how has he been able to get through that unscathed? I would like to get his view, but we'll get one from Gustavo Conde as he has everything happen in front of him. You see the slide, and then, that's a heavy amount of damage there to the left-hand side of that car, spinning back in towards traffic as well as it was trying to work its way by. Always a very dangerous situation, but here we go, because the bell for the race lead is certainly on, and Zaza tries to work his way by, but look at this, Hughes now looking to try and wrestle P2 away from Sawyer, and he might be able to get this one done off of turn 1. He's just slightly got himself ahead, so he splits those two lime green cars.
I have to say that was a fantastic move by Blair Hughes. He just sent it into turn 1, sorry, and just managed to pull it off. He was getting sideways under braking, but yeah, fair play to him. He pulled that move off, and he's up into second place.
Sora will fight him though into the right-hand hairpin, and well, he'll just have to duck back in line. These guys couldn't be more nose to tail than they already are. As well, through the penultimate corner up towards the final one. Of course, it's only a short run out of the final corner in towards turn 1, so you can't really abuse the draft here down the pit straight as you can do so at some other racetracks. Sawyer at risk of pushing wide here. Of course, there is a lot of runoff on the exit of the final corner, so that you are able to do so, but just a little bit too much, and you have an unfortunate spin like Sergio Harras just a couple of laps ago. We're on to lap number 6 of 24 here. Of course, very short lap means more laps, but there we go. Oh, Verheusen, actually, just as that incident at the back of the field happened, Verheusen has had a bit of a problem, and it continues as well. So Lee Anderson, you can see him have a bit of a problem, perhaps here in towards turn 1, contact from behind, but still drama at the front of the field as Verheusen has to drop all the way back, and we'll get the replay up. You can see that free wide off the corner, and then cars are stranded in the middle of the circuit as well. It's Borja Zazo that leads this race. Sawyer came off pretty badly in terms of that incident as well, riding on the back of the Hughes, and you could just see that Sawyer was just a little bit too quick into the corner and had contact with the rear end of him, and now Sawyer, well, that's more of a self-punishing incident there, Ryan.
Indeed, yeah. I think it was just a bit of a bottleneck going into the hairpin, and yeah, unfortunately Hughes got tagged from behind by Sawyer, and this, yeah, it was just nothing intentional. It was just a racing incident, just because everyone was so bunched up, and just unfortunately something had to give, and unfortunately something did give. But yeah, just riding on board with Tim Gorkroger at the moment, and he's having a great race as well, currently in 4th, and keeping up with the 3rd and 2nd place in front of him, and not far ahead of these guys as a leader as well. So yeah, everyone's still relatively close together.
Yeah, but for Zazo, though, it is a very decent gap that he's been able to gain with all the drama happening behind him. So he can just be out there logging laps at this stage and just try to manage that gap all the way to P2. Stands at 2.2 seconds, and well, Fisher again forced to go defensive into turn 1 as Ramos is the car that's second in line in that train right now. We see Graukoga also there, ready and waiting to make an impact, and this might be his time as he looks to go the long way around at the left-hand hairpin. And oh, there's been a big instant further back. That's Gonzalo Calvo going for a bit of a roll, trying to get that car spun back around. What has happened here? Looks like Simon Edwards into the back of him, coming through the apex, and he just sent that Skippy just rolling.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of a gap opened up, and I think Simon tried to get an early run on the exit of the corner, and just I think he just got caught out slightly by Calvo.
Yeah, Will Fisher trying to fight off the threat from Gerardo Ramos. There's Ramos, long way around at turn number 1. There's a pass in progress between Graukoger and Valerino as well at the very back of the shot. Coming through turn 2, turn 3, and synchronized sliding by the front 2 cars, and they've had themselves a moment as well. Will Fisher has to get that car back on the grey stuff. We'll get a replay up on screen. Both those cars at the very front had a bit of a slide, but Ramos more so as he loses control of the car and directly into the side of Fisher he goes.
Yep, that was just too hot by Ramos, and just unfortunately ended up sliding into the side of Will Fisher, and yeah, unfortunately both of them went around, and yes, that's the race pretty much ruined.
It seems like no one wants to be second place right now, but the driver that is in second now, he's started in P9 and now he's in on second step of the podium. That's Tim Graukoger, so he's really just avoided everything that front pack has to offer, and he's just been picking up these positions here and there. But can he hold on, and can he potentially catch Borjazazo? That is the big question. It's quite a big gap at this stage, standing at 4.2 seconds, but if Graukoger is able to manage it, you can see missing rear wing on the Hughes, so you're going to have to be dealing with that one. Simon Edwards starting to close him down. Edwards started in P11, now up to 4th. You see Otero as well, the next car in line, started 12th up to 5th. Anthony Katz started 16th up to 6th. So basically everyone that started sort of near enough that front pack has just really fallen by the wayside, because there's been so much contact, and the cars that started mid-pack towards the back have really reaped the rewards.
Yeah, indeed. It just seems to be kicking off everywhere. Either people don't want to finish this race, or people are just losing their heads this early in the race. But currently looking at Tim Hendrickson at the moment in P12. He's trying to make a move on a Christian Cabanca. Hopefully I said that right. He's trying to make a move into the hairpin. Can he get it done? Yes, he can.
Yep, and he's clear for the exit as well. Cabanca can't really have a bit of a reply to that move, but that's a very good run coming through the sort of Dunlop Bridge section, coming towards the second to the last corner for Cabanca, so he definitely was in the position to threaten into there, but deciding against it in this instance, just waiting to try and wrestle that position back. Hendrickson actually does have a decent bit of damage, so he's actually losing a ton of speed on the straights here. But looking back to P number 2, because Fleur Hughes trying to claw his way back through Graukoger. He has been caught, and well, he's done well to gain P number 2, and now can he hold on to it?
It'll be interesting to see, but yeah, considering Fleur Hughes has not got a rear wing, he's doing quite well to keep control of the car and also keep up with P2. So yeah, fair play to Fleur Hughes.
He was the fastest driver of anyone that time by, so the lack of rear wing certainly isn't affecting the Welshman at the moment. Through the penultimate corner they go, and you can also see battling might just happen here. There Hughes, he goes towards the inside, then through to the final corner, and well, Graukoger won't actually fight it. It really does let him through, at least on the entry. Tries to find the better exit, and is not able to find a better exit, not at all. So there Hughes now up into P2. and he's been very, very quick, even with that damage. So if I was a betting man, I'd bet more on Fair Hughes being able to catch the race leader than Graukoga, just in terms of clear air pace.
I agree, and Hughes is still keeping his pace up, so it's a good sign that he still feels confident with the car. But I think it's a bit of a big ask to try and catch the leader at this stage of the race.
It is going to be a big ask, but we're just over the halfway point of this race, so still plenty of laps left to run. Yes, they'll tick by quickly due to how short the lap time is here, but it's possible for the Hughes, although the percentage chance is rather low, I'll say here. But it just simply has to work at it. If you can chip away at that time and then maybe make a move in the final couple of laps, then that will be overall beneficial. But having a look back to Jose Soira right now, one of the drivers involved in that big incident at the front of the field, perhaps the instigator. If you ask a couple of people, he sends it down the inside of Kabanka though, and he's able to gain the position. He is clear off the corner, so the recovery drive in full effect here for your pole position setter.
Indeed, there's just looking throughout the field as well to see if there's any other battles at the moment, and I think we've only got about 14 cars running, 13 or 14 cars running still, so yeah, they're slowly dropping off.
Yeah, looks like they are. That's for certain. Having a little bit of an onboard shot here as we come up towards the final corner. This is on board with Otero as he tries to track down Simon Edwards. So about P number 4 might just be on here. No send into turn number 1 for the number 18 right now. He stands to gain quite a bit of iRacing if he's able to finish inside the top 5 here. Of course, we have 20 cars in this field. He's in the number 18 car, so doing very, very well for himself. Coming through that first hairpin, unable to find the line just yet, but Simon Edwards, he has to be on his toes here.
No, I'm just watching Simon at the moment. I was quite surprised at his qualifying. He was so far back in the field, but he's doing a good job getting back through the field at the moment. Currently in P4, and right behind him is Cristobal Otero, and not far behind as well, Anthony Katz. So, yeah, a freeway fight for P4.
Yeah, looks like that's the case. Close into the final corner. You can see how sideways some of these Skip Barber cars get, but it is recoverable. And now Otero has a decent run into turn 1, and well, it is defended. Edwards taking a little bit of a shallower line into the corner that time around. We do have Anthony Cat on the outside looking in this battle as well. We have Hendrickson, who's had a bit of a spin. He currently is stopped after the start-finish line. I think he got a little bit of damage from Soira coming out of the final corner, and bam, yeah, just a little bit, and it might have just been enough to break the suspension on Tim Hendrickson, and he decides not to continue.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for Tim Hendrickson. He was having a decent race, and I think that little nudge from behind might have just, as you say, Conroy, might have just broke his suspension. And with this update as well that came out not too long ago, these Skip Barber cars are a bit more fragile when it comes to suspension damage.
Just to give you a little bit of an update on the gap to the race lead, because it has come down, and it's come down quite considerably. You can see on the lap time deltas on the bottom right that 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second here and there. So for Hughes, he's doing all that he needs to do here to try and catch a leader by the time this race is done. So certainly keep an eye on him, and of course the closer he gets, the more that draft will factor in. So things sort of piling on the top of Borges Azo right now, and he'll have a challenger here for the end of the race if Hughes is able to keep up this pace.
I was saying as well, it was a big ask for Larry Hughes to try and catch the leader. Currently looking at his pace at the moment and his lap times, I take that back, and I'm not ruling him out of winning this race possibly. As looking back throughout the field, it's still Edwards, Otero, Cat, and right behind him now is Valerino.
Yeah, so still things very much undecided for P4 out there on circuit, as you could say that maybe Edwards not able to keep up the pace here and is stacking up a couple of cars behind. But it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things as long as he's able to hold on to the position, put up some fair defensive driving, and that's all fair game. Even if you're not faster in terms of the clear air pace, it's all on Otero, it's all on Cat, it's all on Valerino to try and find a way past here. The highest I-rated driver in the field through that final hairpin. A little bit of a puff of smoke once again from Simon Edwards. He's having a bit of trouble here on the brakes into these heavy braking zones, and the exit wasn't great either, so Otero is able to gain a bit of ground coming towards the entry to the final corner, the long way around for the driver of the number 18. Is this one going to work out for him? He has to be careful in terms of making this track exit here. He is able to, but loses a bit of speed, and now Anthony Cat will look to capitalize into turn 1 here. He tries to find a line on the inside, and Otero still trying to attempt to do something about Edwards here, but unsuccessful at the moment. Is there going to be any big moves here into the turn 3 hairpin? Not quite, and again another little bit of a puff of smoke from Edwards.
Yeah, I noticed Edwards is struggling a little bit with brakes and locking up. He's been doing that for quite a few laps, and I don't know if he's not happy with the brake bias setting, or maybe he's just maybe it's something to do with the setup, maybe just something like the right height or tyre pressures possibly. But yeah, he seems to be struggling under braking.
Yeah, it does seem to be having a trouble getting that car stopped in a smooth fashion. Otero yet to capitalise though. To the final corner, coming up to 6 laps to go here in week 4 of the Skip Barber Race Series on Racesport TV. And well, Otero having a look again towards turn 1, but Edwards, he's done well to try and keep himself ahead here. Gap at the front of the field's come down to 1.5 seconds, so Hughes is certainly closing down your leader. Is it enough in the very late stages of this race? Edwards, though, still holding at the front of this train.
Yeah, we should be. I was thinking of a nickname for Edwards, and I was thinking of Simon Truly Train Edwards.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a Truly train right now. 4 cars in it. Edwards, though, still trying to hold on again. Otero will get another run here into the entry for the final corner. He's tried this before around the outside. Is he going to commit even more to it this time around? He's going to take it a little bit better, shall I say, but still not finding the ground required coming out of the corner. Again, another big move, perhaps this time around the outside at turn 1, as you see that Valerino also trying to get past Cat as well, simultaneously to the other move happening. But again, neither of these drivers in this train are able to make any progress.
Yep, everyone's just so close together, and especially in this middle section of the track, it's just so hard to make a move, just because it's so, yeah, it's basically in a way a one line section of the track.
Yeah, but it is, so you can't really do that much coming through the middle sector. Meanwhile, back to your race leaders, because Hughes, he's been taking chunks and chunks at a time out of Zazo, and now he's only 0.7 of a second behind coming onto the front stretch, and now he's feeling the effects of the slipstream as well, so things start to get concerning for Borgia here. He's going to have to try and defend in the final couple laps of this race if he wants to take home the race win. He's had a rather quiet middle part of the race as he was able to gain that gap after the instance that happened behind him, but he will now have company for the final 3 laps.
Indeed. Now I was just thinking as well with regards to the track and what parts to pass on, I think Hughes' best
That's a bit of a mistake there from Zazo. He's feeling the pressure through the final hairpin here, and now Hughes looks to try and find some progress on the inside, coming through the final corner. And well, Hughes, he's diving, he's over in there, and Zazo also went deep on the outside, but that's Hughes. He's been able to make his way through. That was a huge gap caught by Hughes. Zazo's not going to give up easily, though. He goes so deep through the outside, but not able to get back past. Well, an incredible drive here in this race for Hughes. Now he's got the race lead. He has to hold on to it for 2 laps.
I was just about to say as well, I think Hughes' best place to make a move was on the back straight or on the entry to turn 1, and yeah, he done that much quicker than expected. And I think if Hughes can pull away, and I would have to say that's signed, sealed, delivered in the post.
First class or second class post?
First class.
There we go. But yeah, Zazo really needs to find a bit of speed here on this final lap if he's going to challenge. He has the slipstream to work with here, but it's not as impactful here at Tsukuba as it is at so many other tracks here that the Skip Barbers do head towards. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle. He dives it deep into turn 1 regardless, trying to keep himself close. Meanwhile, Simon Edwards still in P4 at the moment. He's done a massive effort to hold on to that position. You see Valerino trying to deal with Cat at the very rear end of that train as well. But this is the final lap. This is the do-or-die moment here. Simon Edwards has to be on his toes if he's going to keep hold on to number 4 here, with a bunch of hungry piranhas behind. But it's just a couple of corners to go from this point forwards. You see your race leaders, Hughes, 4.5 seconds was the gap at its worst to the race leader, but he's able to gobble into it. And now through the final corner, week 4 here at Tsukuba in the Skip Barbers, it is Hughes taking the race win over Borja Zazo. We look back to that battle for P4 as well, because Simon Edwards is against the odds, being able to hold on and keep everyone behind him. Otero comes across the line for a top 5. Anthony Cap in P number 6, but oh my word, that was a brilliant, brilliant drive there from the Welshman in the number 5. Hughes, who takes the checkered flag.
If there was a vote for driver of the day, I think Hughes wins that by a mile.
Yeah, he does. He really, really does. Here are your official race results from the Tsukuba circuit here in the Skip Barber Racing School Series. Hughes wins by 0.6 of a second over Borja Zazo. And then Tim Graukroger comes home with a podium finish as well. Simon Edwards, P11 to P4 for him. Fantastic drive, fantastic defensive effort at the very end of the race. We've got Cristobal Otero in a top 5 finishing position as well. Anthony Cap misses out on that. He finishes in P6. Valerino 7th. Will Fisher comes home in P8. Gerardo Ramos in P9. Sasha Gole ends up with a top 10 finish. And your pole position setter, Jose Soraya, not having a great day, finishes in 11th after starting at the very front. CJ Harris in P12. We've got Christian Carbanca started at the very back, able to pick up a couple positions into P13 here today. Luke Whitten, P14. Gonzalo Calvo, a couple of issues here today as well. P15 for him, and you see drivers that are 1 lap down or more. Gonza Garcia, Lee Anderson, Anthony Jones, Gustavo Conde, and Tim Hendrickson rounding out your 20-car finishing results. But with all the racing over and done with, we're just going to take a short break here on RaceSpot TV, but don't go away because it is the post-race show just after this.
Jim Beaver, voice of the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Introducing Pro 2 and Pro 4 trucks on iRacing. Game on!
A late race pass once again seals the deal in the Skip Barber Racing Series here on Racebot TV Friday primetime. Fair Hughes comes away with the checkered flag after catching 4.5 seconds in the second half of the race to pull off the pass over Borja Zazo. Everything else, though, inside that top 10, at least at the very start of the race, very confusing. A lot of contact that really put a damper on a lot of drivers' races here today. Jose Soraya, one of them. We also had Sasha Gore there fall by the wayside a little bit. Will Fisher, also frustration at the end of the race for him. I'm Connery Maddock. I'm joined by Ryan Walker here for the post-race show. And once again, it seems like these skippies have delivered, Ryan.
Absolutely, that was a fantastic race to watch, not just in the front but further back as well, with Edwards, Otero, Cat and Valle Reno as well, and also a bit of frustration with Will Fisher as well, but overall fantastic race. And there was only one word for me to describe Hughes' drive up at the front after being 4.5 seconds back. A masterclass.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. Of course, Tim Graukoger keeping himself out of problems as well. He was always the driver that was able to gain the positions when those incidents happened, and was able to keep his particular car clean. And sometimes if you do that in these more hectic races, you're able to gain a boatload of positions without all that much work.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just great to watch. And Tsukuba was a great track as well for these Skip Barber cars, and I think I'm looking forward to next week as well. I can't remember what track it is. What's his bad of me?
But of course we will get that one as there we go. There's the schedule up on screen for you now. 10th of January, exactly a week's time from now, we head to Road Atlanta, which should be a fun race. Opposite in terms of style of layout here to the 2000 full layout of Tsukuba. It's very much draft dependent there at Road Atlanta, so a bit of a different style of racing. And then of course 2 weeks time we head to Phillip Island as well, so a lot to look forward to coming through the middle part of this season here on Racebot TV Friday primetime. But unfortunately from us, that is going to be all that we have time for. I've been Connery Maddock. I've been joined by Ryan Walker. Of course, we've had Paul Smith behind the scenes pushing all of the buttons to make the broadcast work. But join us, same place, same time next week for more Skip Barber action. Goodbye.